Morning, good afternoon, or good evening, my beautiful hot messes. My name is Mistress Lavender, and today I'm reading The Artist Seduction by Robert Greene. I'm on chapter 11. Pay attention to detail on page 115. And before we begin, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn your post notifications on. Let's start. Lofty words and grand gestures can be suspicious. Why are you trying so hard to please? The details of a seduction, the subtle gestures, the offhand things you do, are often more charming and revealing. You must learn to distract your victims with a mirage of pleasant little rituals, thoughtful gifts tailored just for them, clothes and ornaments designed to please them, gestures that show the time and attention you are paying them. All of their senses are engaged in the tales you orchestrate, create spectacles to dazzle their eyes. Mesmerized by what they see, they will not notice what you've really been up to. Learn to suggest the proper feelings and moods throughout details. Keys to seduction. When we were children, our senses were much more active. The colors of a new toy or a spectacle such as a circus held us in thrall. A smell or a sound could fascinate us. In the games we created, many of them reproducing something in the adult world on a smaller scale. What pleasure we took in orchestrating every detail. We noticed everything. As we grow older, our senses get dulled. We no longer notice as much, for we are constantly hurrying to get things done, to move on to the next task. In seduction, you are always trying to bring the target back to the golden moments of childhood. A child is less rational, more easily deceived. A child is also more attuned to the pleasures of the senses. So when your targets are with you, you must never give them the feeling they normally get in the real world, where they are rushed, ruthless, out for themselves. You need to deliberately slow things down and return them into simpler times of their youth. The details that you orchestrate, colors, gifts, little ceremonies, are aimed at their senses. As a childish delight we take in the immediate charms of the natural world, their senses filled with delightful world. What? We take in the immediate charms of the natural world. Their senses filled with delightful things, they grow less capable of reason and rationality. Pay attention to detail and you will find yourself assuming a slower pace. Your targets will not focus on what you might be after, sexual favors, powers, etc., because you seem so considerate, so attentive. In the childish realm of the senses in which you envelope them, they get a clear sense that you are involving them in something distant from the real world, an essential ingredient of seduction. From the 1940s on into the early 1960s, Pamela Churchill Harriman had a series of affairs with some of the most prominent and wealthy men in the world. What attracted these men and kept them in thrall was not her beauty or her lineage or her vivacious personality, but her extraordinary attention to detail. It began with her attentive look as she listened to your every word, soaking up your tastes. Once she found her way into your home, she would fill it with your favorite flowers, get your chef to cook that dish you only had tasted in the finest restaurants. You mentioned an artist you liked. A few days later, the artist would be attending one of the parties. She found the perfect antiques for you, dressed in the way that most pleased or excited you, and she did this without saying a word. She spied, gathered information from third parties, overheard you talking to someone else. Harriman's attention to detail had an interesting, intoxicating effect on all the men in her life. Life is harsh and competitive. Attending to detail in a way that is soothing to the other person makes them dependent upon you. The key is probing their needs in a way that is not too obvious, so that when you make precisely the right gesture, it seems uncanny, as if you had read their mind. Everything in seduction is a sign, and none more so than clothes. It is not that you have to dress interestingly, elegantly, or provocatively, but you have to dress for your target, have to appeal to what your target's taste. When Cleopatra was seducing Mark Antony, her dress was not brazenly sexual. She dressed like a Greek goddess, knowing his weakness for such fantasy figures. Madame de Pompadour, the mistress of King Louis the XV, knew the king's weakness, his chronic boredom. She constantly wore different clothes, changing not only their hair, but their style, supplying the king with a constant feast for his eyes. Contrast works well here, at work or at home. You might dress nonchalantly, but when you are with the target, you are wearing something elaborate, as if you were putting on a costume. You, your Cinderella transformation will stir excitement and the feeling that you have done something just for the person you are with. A gift has immense seductive power, but the object itself is less important than the gesture and the subtle thought or emotion that it communicates. Perhaps the choice relates to something from the target's past, or symbolizes something between you, or merely represents the lengths you will go to please. Expensive gifts have no sentiment attached. They may temporarily excite the recipient, but they are quickly forgotten. As a child forgets a new toy. The object that reflects the giver's attentiveness has lingering sentimental power, which resurfaces every time its owner sees it. Finally, words are important in seduction and have a great deal of power to confuse, distract, and boost the vanity of the target. But what is most seductive in the long run is what you do not say, what you communicate indirectly. Words come easy and people distrust them. Anyone can say the right words, and once they are said, nothing is binding, and they may even be forgotten altogether. The gesture, the thoughtful gift, the little details seem much more real and substantial. They are also much more charming than lofty words about love, precisely because they speak for themselves and let the seduced read into them more than is there. Never tell someone what you are feeling. Let them guess it in your looks and gestures. That is the more convincing language. The symbol of the banquet. A feast has been prepared in your honor. Everything has been elaborately coordinated. The flowers, the decorations, the selection of guests, the dancers, the music, the five-course meal, the endless flowing wine. The banquet loses your tongue, and also your inhibitions. I'm done. On page 120. The next episode will be on chapter 12. Poeticize your presence. But yeah, thank you again for coming with me and reading this book with me. My name is Mistress Lavender, and again, the book is The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. I'm so happy you joined me today. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe, and remember, reading is good. Bye.